Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another one of our nightly recaps here with the NBA Outlook recap. We got Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpey Jr. Thank y'all for joining us. So let's get to it. As always, as has been the usual in the NBA restart, there were 6 games. I am also looking forward to this upcoming weekend when the playoffs are on the way. We get these play-in games in, and there will no longer be 6 games a day. I don't know about you, Ray, but I cannot wait.
Actually 7 games tonight.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Thanks.
man.
Thanks. Thanks. That's it makes me feel that much better. All right, let's get started with the one of the home teams. Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Washington Wizards 121-103. Rookie Darius Baisley had himself a night. Career high 23 off the bench, 5 of 8 from deep. Uh, my man Gallo, Nilo Gallinari with 20 points. Shai Gilgeous Alexander had 18. But your thoughts on the Wizards as of right now? They're the only winless team in the bubble.
I mean, I hate to say it that this is not surprising, but it's not surprising.
Right.
I mean, like we said, almost nightly, they're they're missing a lot. And they got a lot of young guys. I think they just took this bubble experience as development to get some guys some reps. And it's done some good. A couple guys have shown some improvement. Bonga, he's shown at times he can step out and hit 3-point shots, getting a little creative off the dribble. Um, E. Smith, I mean, he's not a young guy, but he's showing he's got some value. He keeps their pace when he gets in the game. They're a much different team. Um, but OKC, we expected them to get back on track. After that loss to Memphis the other night.
Mm.
Wizards continued to show their defensive ineptitude. Thunder shot 51% from the floor, 46% from three. I mean, that's just pretty much lights out. Uh, you know they um they did themselves a favor by pretty much getting this one out of reach early, so they got a chance to rest some guys because they're on the front end of a back to back. Then they got Phoenix tomorrow, who's been man, they've been causing people issues since they've been down here. So yeah, it was good that they got a chance to just kind of rest them legs because they're gonna need them tomorrow night.
They definitely
Uh,
are.
yeah, they the Thunder didn't have Steven Adams or Nerlens Noel, so they were a little thin up front. But they still did a good job challenging folks at the rim, interior defense and rebounding. Um, like you said, Wiz the only winless team down here. But couple bright spots. Thomas Bryant being the brightest. He's really played well. Rui's been up and down though, but I'm sure they're gonna go back in the lab and him and Scott Brooks gonna figure that out.
I think the other thing with Rui, I'm sure, those, what were they? The All Star backcourt guys might make things a little bit easier for
Right? Yeah,
a
yeah,
Rui in the future as well. So, like, that's the other thing watching the Wizards, like you said, it's just developmental right now, man. It's extra reps, right? Meaningful reps, live reps as well. Because
hmm
some of these folks wouldn't be getting these types of minutes in a perfect world where Brad and John are both alive and healthy. Do like from basketball sense, they're both alive and healthy and available. But this isn't what this is right now. So yeah, get everybody else ready, and next year, if everyone can come back, and if they figure out what's going on with the season next year, next season rather, um, you know, it's a much better situation. It's a different looking situation than this one right here. On to the
hmm
Toronto Raptors. Pascal Ciaco, I refuse to use his nickname. I think it's horrible. Somebody needs to get him a new one. He doesn't deserve that Spicy P thing. That is horrible. Horrible. He did nothing to deserve that. Norman Powell threw in 16 in the Raptors. They just kept raptoring, man. They just a machine, dude. Just boring, methodical uh, machine. They beat the Grizzlies 108-99. And, just want to give congratulations to them. This is their fifth consecutive season with at least 50 wins. So, congrats to the Raptors.
Yeah. The Raptors kept raptoring and the Grizzlies kept grizzlying. They dropped another game. Um, you know, it seems like they're trying their best to make this the hardest route possible for them. Like, pretty much every game has been winnable since they've been in the bubble, and they have one victory. Like, if they handle business, they might be in a little less tense situation. But seems like they really want to do this playing thing. So go ahead and do your thing, man. But yeah, Ciaco had 26 for the Grizzlies. John Morant, Dylan Brooks, and Grayson Allen combined for 62 points. Didn't get much outside of them three. But yeah, Toronto, they just well-oiled machine, like you said. They warmed down. They got aggressive. They got downhill a lot. Toronto got to the line 33 times. If a team's shooting that many free throws, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna win the game.
Also
That
means
just
the whole defense thing isn't going well either if they're at the line 38.
exactly. But Toronto, they came out the gate slow, but they had 40 points in the second quarter, seized control of the game, and never gave it back. Memphis just playing catch up the whole time. But they're another young team, and I get that, but they really got to take these losses kind of personal because I see if it was like up and down, win one, lose one, and things like that, but
Right.
they're losing pretty much all of them, and it's because of mistakes, sloppy play, and lack of discipline down the stretch. Like that can't be your norm. Like I don't. It being a young team really isn't an excuse. Like to lose every game the same way. It's different. If one game they do everything right and the other team just outplays them, you got to take that. But if you're continuously shooting yourself in the foot every night, then you got to kind of look in the mirror and see what you can do better.
Right. I think that's a very, very nice way to say it. And that has to be the most frustrating part. Not only are you in these games, some of these games you have leads late in these games, and still, it's almost like this is also the bad part of about being a young team. It's almost like you find every way possible to lose, right? Instead of ways to hold on. It's almost like it's the worst version of Groundhog Day ever. The Boston Celtics beat the Orlando Magic 122-119. This is their third straight win, and Gordon Hayward looked like pre-injury Gordon Hayward for a
Hmm.
minute. It was good to see him have that type of performance. This is why they're paying the type of money they're paying him. This is that type of performance. Obviously, you would like this in the postseason, but it's good to get a 31.9 rebounds, 5 assists night under your books, 12 to 18 from the field. I mean, there wasn't really anything that the man did wrong. You throw in Tatum's 29, and still, they were in a dogfight with the Orlando Magic, who, even though they're missing some people, like I said, the last time I was a fan of an NBA team, I gave that up now. It's just like life's it's just not worth it. I want to enjoy my
Right.
life, right? Steve Clifford coach teams are the most annoying defensive teams to play because they're just there. Like it's the one thing they're gonna do, even when everything's wrong offensively. Steal, block. Like I had such a tough moment where I didn't know if I wanted to retweet when Markel walked Kemba down and punched in Glass's layup. Because obviously I'm a Kemba fan, UConn all day. Obviously, love faults too, but I was conflicted. But no, it was a good win for Boston, and for them, I think they locked in. They locked in the number 3 seed, so
Hmm.
it's good to know where you're at. But it was just a good win because right now, like in this crazy situation, this scenario, like getting stacking wins, and they're still kind of like a relatively young team to me as well. It's important. They're looking for
Yeah.
some type of consistency, so that's the positive there. And if I'm Orlando, I'm not really obviously you're not happy that you lost, but I'm not ready to set the world on fire or anything because I fell to the Boston Celtics while down a critical piece of your puzzle. Uh, that's kind of tough. I don't think Aaron Gordon played today either, so you're missing
Right.
two of your two of your versatile forwards. So I mean, what you lost this game by three?
Overtime. Like, yeah, but with Gordon Hayward, like it's funny how people are quick to criticize, and seems that they forget that he kind of snapped his ankle. Like, that's a thing that happened, and it takes time to round yourself back into shape. So I'm glad to see him kind of finally get healthy, because this is what he brings to your team. And just see him, Tatum and Jaylen Brown out there working at the same time, man. That's going to be an issue. Um, but Orlando, Vooch had 26 and 11. Fultz had another good game, 16 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. But they sorely missed Jonathan Isaacs, especially in a game like this when they're down Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier and Mike and Carter Williams didn't play as well. So they were a few of their guns were out, and for them to put up this type of fight, against a really good team, it, like you said, it's, of course you want to win, but it's nothing to hold your head down about. Like, but yeah, they're trying to catch Brooklyn for that seventh spot. They really weren't in any danger of not making a postseason, because like the closest person to them is worlds away. So
I was
they're
wondering how you were gonna put that together. So
yeah, they're just trying to improve their standing as much as possible. But real good game, man. They, like you said, if you're a Steve Clifford coach team, you're going to scratch and claw defensively, and that's going to keep you in a lot of games. Kemba Walker had a rough go at it. He had finished with 4 points, and he's still on minutes restriction as well. So yeah, that just shows you what kind of tenacity they have on defense.
also another young team that has continued to struggle, from Memphis to New Orleans, who has officially went fishing. At least down there, apparently everybody's able to catch fish because the game's rigged. Uh, DeMar DeRozan, 27 points. Rudy Gay, 19 off the bench. Look, the Spurs went up by 20, almost tricked the lead away, but they held on to win 122, 113. Rudy Gay dunked on somebody today, which wasn't expecting that, but why not? The Spurs still being San Antonio, don't know how to just be bad, and I don't think they know how to do it. They they're still alive technically because of course, right? That's all I got for that one, man. Your thoughts on this one?
I mean, this is kind of just what we saw in the Toronto Memphis game. San Antonio got to the line 32 times, and they made 31 of them. You know, when when you're giving away that many free points, it's hard to overcome that. And that that's basically where the game was decided. It's a 9 point game. You give away 31 free points. Like, that's tough to overcome, man. You basically got to do everything else absolutely perfect to pull that one out, and of course they didn't. But JJ Redick had a great game, 31 points. Showed a lot of energy on defense. He was pretty much the spark plug for them today. But unfortunately, his 13-year streak of making the postseason has officially been snapped. Uh, but Zion, he had a Zion-like performance, 25 points in 27 minutes. Uh, Man, like, we didn't see him a lot this season, but when we did, like, I'm I can't wait to see what happens when he can be fully unleashed. You know, um, a lot's been made of him. His conditioning, his weight, and all this other stuff. But just put the guy on the floor. Like, the results speak for themselves. Um, DeMar DeRozan had 27. It's just the Spurs win. Like, they they outsmarted them. They made key plays. They were quicker to loose balls. They just did what they do. This new look Spurs is like, this doesn't look like a Popovich team, and that's not an insult. Like, they're just being more athletic than people when creating and just doing a lot of things that are uncharacteristic of them. But it's working. Like you said, they're still mathematically alive. They got a pretty good chance. I mean, of course, they need some help, but if things shake out a certain way, they could find themselves in the playing game.
No, you're definitely right. Of course, like you said, they still have a chance. That's all you can ask for, right? Just have a chance, and you control what you can control, and every other wonderful cliche that goes with it. All right, on to Dame time. Another 50 ball. 51, 16 to 28 from the floor, 15 to 16 from the line. I don't know why folks keep messing with this man. Leave his name out your mouth. Leave him be. I don't care what's going on. Just leave him alone. That said, Portland's lucky because they needed every one of those 51 points. Even after Philly loses and beating this one, you want to talk about scrapping. They were down double 17 in the second quarter, found their way, climbed their way back into this game, and it was tight down the stretch.
Mm,
Um, they fell, and it for Portland. Portland was in a situation where they couldn't lose that game, especially after Embiid goes down. Like you
right.
you can't have that type of loss, right? You just can't, especially after tricking away the game the other day. You cannot. You can't do both of those things. Otherwise, then you'd be like the Grizzlies, because that's some Grizzlies-like behavior, where you would trick away and win at the free throw line, and then have a game like this. One of the other team, the other team's top player goes down, and you still find a way to mess this up. But Portland got the job done, and huge nights for Josh Richardson with 34. How about that?
Yes. Yeah, man. Philly can go ahead and thank the Clippers for that. they they fired that boy up, and man, he went to work. Fourth quarter, I think he had 18,
Yes.
and just in that period alone, of course, finished with 51. But yeah, if Portland would have found a way to lose this game, they should have been eliminated from playoff contention just because. Like you can, with your life on the line, you can't lose to a Philly team without Simmons and Embiid on the floor.
Right.
Like they should be ashamed that it was this close to begin with.
Agreed.
Like I get it, the other guys get paid too, but nah, man, you got to go ahead and and get the easy ones out the way. But Philly they put it together. Tobias Harris, he got real aggressive at one stretch. Every time he found CJ McCollum guarding him, mousetrap, put him right on the block. And he forced Portland to adjust. And of
Yeah.
course, Josh Richardson just couldn't miss. Um, Melo, man, Melo had a mellow game. He also moved to 15th on the all-time scoring list tonight. So congrats to him. Mario Hezonja gave him some quality minutes. He was, real scrappy on defense. Made a couple huge plays. Um, Nurkic was big for them. Had some early foul trouble, but after that, it got to a point where Stotts had to trust him because that game was slipping away. But he played a good portion of the 4 for 5 fouls and made a big block on Al Horford at the end. So yeah, that just shows you how different they are with him on the floor. And this if they do find a way to sneak their way into the postseason, they're going to be a very interesting team to watch.
Yeah.
Because they were
They're the type of team where you better make sure you're paying attention because you don't want to get caught because they have more than they're not your typical 8 seed. I guess that's the simplest way to say it, right?
mhm,
That'd be the easiest way to say this. All right, on to another man who had a career night. Austin Rivers got to act of the fool. 41 points off the bench. The Rockets used the big third quarter uh, to beat the Kings 129-112. It's been bad for the Kings. Their whole bubble experience is similar to the Wizards, and where it's just reps for a young team essentially, right?
mhm.
They struggled here. What kind of stinks is you gave Harrison Barnes that big bag, and then you find out that Bogey's walking around with a whole banana clip, and it's real. Like Bogey showed out during the bubble play, so I don't know what decisions gonna have to be made. Just saying. And the same thing for like Buddy Hield. Like it's tough right now, right? Like Bogey said, I want to be here. That's somebody took this experience and was like, it's not gonna be me. Y'all got decisions to make. I'm gonna be here with De'Aaron. That's what I know. But your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, Austin Rivers. career high 41 points. Him and Harden combined for 73.
Goodness.
Yeah, when you get two players with that type of output, it's man, like you got some work to
Sheesh.
do if you want to win that one. And obviously the Kings didn't get the job done. Ben McLemore added 20. De'Aaron Fox had a good game, 26-9. But that third quarter was rough. Sacramento only scored 15 points, and through the second and third quarters they lost 70-35. Yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah, that's the game right there.
All right, yeah, okay. So we're gonna move on. That's disgusting. All right, the Nets beat the Clippers tonight. Brooklyn had five players in double figures, led by Karis LeVert's 27. Kawhi had 39. It looks like the Clippers are doing their whole rest one, play one thing already.
Hmm.
Because I believe Kawhi sat out the last game, right? And then Paul played,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
tonight Paul didn't play. I see you, Doc Rivers. Y'all not slick, but go ahead.
But yeah, they just biding their time. Like they haven't been whole the whole bubble experience. But Lou Williams was back tonight. He had a solid game. I think he finished with 18. Uh, believe they're going to get Montrez back soon. So
Mm-hmm.
so soon it's going to come a time when you're going to have to face them boys at full strength, and I don't think nobody wants that. But they no Paul George, no Pat Beverly tonight. Which impacts them greatly on the defensive end. But yeah, the Nets, they started out, man, they couldn't miss. They had 45 points in the first quarter. Joe Harris is I don't know what to say about that dude, man. But eventually, they took him seriously. They started doubling, which is crazy to see.
See
But
Joe Harris get doubled. Don't be like that. My man said I need to see this clip.
hey, man, but they making him put the ball on the floor and make decisions, which you have to do for
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Because if you let him catch the ball clean and get a look at the rim, it's going up and it's going in. So yeah, I mean, eventually I guess they just put their pride aside and say, all right, man, we gotta we gotta stop the avalanche. But you know, Clippers weren't going away. The Nets would try to stretch it out, but they just kept trying to walk them down the whole game. But eventually in the fourth, they were able to pull away.
yeah. And then that's another team where I feel like they've done a good job using this bubble experience to make sure that we know they're missing their two top guys.
Hmm.
Folks are making a couple folks on this during this bubble thing have made a great case as to why they should be getting not only sharing the floor with their two top guys next season, but getting heavy minutes. You can't afford to not play me. We already Karis LeVert's a gimme. We know like he's gonna be playing. That's all Kevin Kyrie talked about was Karis. But Joe Harris as well. Jared Allen's almost had a triple double the other night. So you see where he's going with this game. It's fun to kind of just because like literally in a season we're gonna be like we're gonna say the Nets just need more from the others, and we're literally getting a chance to see the others right now in bubble play essentially.
Right.
So it's good to see. I just want to give credit to the teams using this to get positive gains and outcomes from their time in the bubble versus the teams that got nothing but reps. But that concludes our nightly recap. We want to thank you guys for hanging with us. Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. We will catch you guys very, very soon. Like literally like within the next 24 hours. So we'll see you guys soon.